Can you map that journey? 100 marks improvement in GS.
Sir, it has been in a graded way. Like when you are getting 335, the scope of improvement is huge.
Very high.
So, like if you will work hard, definitely the marks will increase.
What is your sequence of attempt?
Like I used to start with 10 markers for like 4 questions in 30 minutes, and then so that to increase to maintain like come in the momentum and come in the flow.
You told that you'll order from Zomato that day.
Yes,
when you were writing 3 tests.
Like if 3 tests are there, I will definitely party because that's a big achievement.
What was your approach for current affairs and all?
For current affairs, sir, I used to read newspapers, and for like if I used to find any good example from that, so I used to write it down. And other than that, I followed Dipin's current affairs.
Hello students, today we have with us Divyank Gupta, who has secured rank 21. It is his 5th attempt.
Yes, sir.
Divyank has maths optional. He's from UP. And welcome Divyank.
Thank you, sir.
Right. So I think congratulations first.
Thank you. Thank
5 attempts.
Thank you, sir, and thank you to you because we have been associated for very long, and you have guided me very well in GS.
You see, I am someone who believes that it's the students' work, right? Our role is like a bridge, like limited bit of help, but mainly it is your effort. Because surviving 5 years, I don't think any mentor or teacher can make you do that, right? How did you survive 5 years in this process?
I think, sir, first was the confidence on ability. Like, yes, you know that you have it
Inner belief.
Yes, inner belief. Second is, sir, I think the support, the family support and the support system which you build with your friends. That is one thing. And then, sir, consistent improvement, because I think when you stop, like when there is no hope left or when there is no scope of improvement which you can see, that is the most depressing time in this preparation. Jab tak till you are able to see some scope of improvement, I think that is when you can keep going. But once you stop seeing that, that is the time when you feel that this is the time to leave.
So out of this 5 attempts, you have given interview 4 times.
Yes, sir.
So that means you have only failed prelims at 1.
Yes, sir.
Right, that's one way of looking at. And I think in our earlier conversation, you said that your mains GS marks went from 335 to 435 from the first attempt to the 5th attempt.
Yes, sir.
How can you map that journey? 100 marks improvement in GS.
Sir, it has been in a graded way. Like when you are getting 335, the scope of improvement is huge.
Very high.
So, like if you will work hard, definitely the marks will increase. So, in my second means, my marks increased from 335 to 395. Right. So 60 marks jump. Yep. And then it took me 2 more attempts to increase by 40 marks.
40
so like
marks.
After reaching a certain level, like when you come in a range of 400 something, from there the marks increasing marks becomes difficult.
You're going from good to excellent.
Yes.
Right. That is very difficult journey.
Yes. So you have to put in a lot of work. So you have to find the loopholes which others would be making, and then you have to bring in some differentiated content, specific content. So I think that makes the job very
also
difficult.
Improvement in the way you are writing, packaging
yes.
it.
Yes, sir. So yes, it happens in a graded way. Initially, it will be easy to increase till 400. Then comes the actual task where your brain goes.
And the problem in this examination, like we discussed earlier, is that one thing goes up, another thing comes down.
Yes, seesaw.
right. Can you explain how was your seesaw experience?
Yes, sir. In mains, if I talk about GS, it was like in second mains I scored 395, but in GS3 I scored 74.
Okay.
So and then in the third mains I decided that I will focus a lot on GS3. So in the third mains my marks in GS3 increased from 74 to 97, but GS1 marks came down by 30.
Right.
So then it was like back to my overall score increased to 408. Only 13 marks jump in 1 year.
Because one paper went down.
One paper went down. So I increased by 43 marks in 3 papers, but one paper pulled it down by 30.
30 marks. This year you told me GS1 you have improved 37 marks.
This year I have increased by 37. In other 2 papers, marks have been same, almost same. They have come down by a few marks, and in GS4 exact same marks.
Right. So how did you improve 37 marks in GS1?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think I followed multiple changes. I did multiple changes. One was on the content aspect. So since I am from the technical background,
Mathematics.
I have from college also, and then from optional is mathematics. So I found that society is of 70 marks. So if you have to write better and compete with the people who have socio optional, you have to
think like a sociology student.
Yes, yes.
So where did you use it? To value add, to increase the points, to improve the introduction, conclusion? Where did you?
So in all 3, like
all 3.
Wherever I was finding the scope, so I was using it. So Rajani Kothari is one of the.
Not prominent thinkers, not the
lesser known.
ones.
They should be prominent so that it should not appear that you are a socio optional person.
Student, right?
Yes. So that is why the most prominent like Dipankar Gupta, Rajini Kothari, John Jacob, like these things.
You have used.
This well, GS Core. So you can use these
Use of diagrams in paper one. How intense
in
was it?
sir, in GS in geography I made lots of diagrams. So you only told me that rather than making one big diagram, it is better that if you are making small diagrams.
Small diagram.
So in 10 markers, I used to ensure that 2 diagrams are there. In 15,
And I think the thing about diagrams is now it's easier to consume. It
yes,
makes it less monotonous. Introduction conclusions for geography questions. This is a challenge that most students have.
Yes, sir. So for introduction, if any concept is there, so you can write about it. Or if it is about environmental geography, that this disaster, like that land degradation is happening. So you can refer to the recent event which is happening, any
Current context.
Current context you can give. Or you can start with certain fact. So that is when the introduction, this is the way of introduction. For conclusions, sir, I used to refer to like if environmental part is there. So I used to refer to some organization which is working for it and what is the key idea, key
So
concept.
predefined conclusions, or you were thinking
Predefined.
predefined?
Because you don't have the time to write excellent.
So for every theme, you have thought of a conclusion
Yes,
and
sir.
introduction.
So
and
for
advance.
example, if I not for geography, I'm able to recall for art and culture. So like in the so like when the new parliament building was
Constructed,
inaugurated,
right.
so Sengol was passed by Prime Minister. So if Chola Empire question comes, you can use it there.
As a context.
Anubhav Mantappa is being talked about, so you can mention that. So in art and culture, while concluding, you can mention the significance of that.
Basically, you're telling the evaluator that I don't just know the static part,
Yes,
I understand
I
the relevance
understand
of this
the-
today.
Yes. So that is a good way to end because you are able to bring connect the historical part with the present.
Right.
So I think in conclusion, I followed this approach, sir, for art and culture.
Did you have a paper completion issue?
Obviously, sir, in mains you
Right.
will have. So one of the thing which I changed in GS1 this year was that, sir, before I used to focus a lot on 15 markers because there is a
Higher
cycle.
marks.
Yes, higher marks. So my 10 markers used to get compromised. So what I did this year is that I used to identify 1 or 2 15 markers which I don't know that well because in GS1 there will be question 1 or 2, especially
culture,
geography
history,
or art and
geography
culture.
also.
So
Twister.
and that
Fjord.
Fjord was last year, and this year Borealis Australis was there. So you know the concept, but you cannot write it for 3 pages.
3 pages.
So I identified these 2 questions. I saved the time, and then I ensured that my 10 markers are better because they will be checked first. So if
Any sequence and what is your sequence of attempt?
so and like I used to start with 10 markers for like 4 questions in 30 minutes. And then so that to increase to maintain like come in the momentum and come in the flow. So for 10 markers, then 8 15 markers, and then come back to 10 markers 6, and then go back there the remaining 1 or 2 questions which are 15 markers left.
What I find unique about your journey and marks is that you may be the person with the highest marks in GS for a maths optional student, right? Because maths optional student, my understanding is that you need a lot of time, you need a lot of effort, practice. So how did you manage this time split between optional and GS?
Yes, sir. So, sir, between prelims and mains, I used to plan it in this way that on every Sunday I will be giving test. So I used to so one optional was compulsory because maths is one optional. Like if it goes in your favor, you will
It does
be there.
well.
You will be there. So that is one optional, one paper which I have to give. Then comes another paper which I have to give, which can be any GS paper. So on that basis, I used to make schedule. And since I scored very less marks in GS1, so obviously that was my target
wanted to
area.
compensate.
So, yes. So for maths, I was actually doing it in this way that initially for 1 month, if you are giving tests, your iteration will be completed. Then for like if paper 1 is there, full paper 1 test is there, you can just revise it 1 or 2 days before the exam and give that. And for the remaining days of the week, you can focus on the GS and the essay part. So that is how you balance.
And what about testing? 1 day in a week or every day? Every day did you write answers?
No, sir, I am not a everyday person.
Right.
I followed it for some part this year.
PYQs or?
No, not PYQ. PYQ I analyzed a lot. I used to think that what I
Brainstorm.
will write and what sort of questions they are asking. So brainstorming was the main part. I didn't write it. It's better if you can write, but I didn't have the time to write it down. So I rather than that, I ensured that all the PYQs are covered in a manner that I have a decent content. I have a conclusion, introduction, and all the value addition material which I can use it there.
Right. So 1 day testing day.
One day, yes, sir.
Right. How many tests in a day?
How many tests?
2 tests, 3 tests when you're
so-
writing tests?
Like on Sundays, so some day I gave 3 tests also.
Right. You told that you'll order from Zomato that day. Right?
Yes,
when,
yes,
when
yes.
you are writing 3 tests.
Like if 3 tests are there, I will definitely party because that's a big achievement. So
That would drain
because
you.
you have literally wrote for 9 hours, man, like without even looking up, like you are just looking at the paper.
Your neck will pain.
So you deserve a
You
reward.
deserve a party.
Yes.
Right?
So
So what is your favorite place to order from Zomato?
I was staying in Warren, so like I used to order from Temple Street.
Temple Street. Right.
Or
right.
from I used to order a lot of chap.
Right,
So
right,
so Punjabi chap was one place.
Right. So paper 2 and how was the approach?
Paper 2, so paper 2 is
You have
highly,
114 in paper 2.
and last year it was 119.
19. Right. So you have done well in paper 2.
Yes, sir. And before that it was 110. So overall it is.
Overall, it is good.
So for that actually paper 2 it is easy to score high marks because the questions are repetitive in nature, because every year they are going to ask question on federalism, panchayati raj, NGOs, and over the period of time if you are reading newspapers, so
Themes are expected. But what I think one pattern that I'm seeing is that the context in which the theme is being asked keeps changing. You know, federalism will come, panchayat will come, elections will come, but what about it is a new thing.
Yes, sir. But sir, like if you are following the news, you
Right.
are aware about the context, and other than the and the context part is less because because even in the context part you just have to tweak the way in which you have to write. The more or less the content
essence,
will
the
remain
theme
the
will
same.
remain same.
Yes, that will remain the same, and that is why it is easy to score good marks in GS2 because once you have
How
made
many
notes,
theme questions were you familiar out of 20 when you went to the examination hall? Like topics which you had already practiced on.
so I'm like right now it has
But roughly 50%?
more than that.
More than that.
GS2 it can be very high, sir. GS2 is the only paper in which I was able to completely complete paper in
And time also.
like before time, like 2 minutes, 5 minutes are left, because when you have written so many papers and you have gone through so many questions, you are going to repeat that content is going to be repeated, so you don't have to think, you only have to write it down.
Recollection part will be faster.
Yes, introduction, everything will be faster, sir, because the example will also be you have written somewhere.
Right.
So it
And
is.
I also have this theory that if you write on a theme which you have already written, you will write better arguments first. Because otherwise it's not necessary that good arguments will come first.
And you will highlight your content better. You will bring in.
You had a
better
boxing
committees.
approach this year.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell about this?
So, sir, let's say if in any question I am writing like any thinker, or if I'm bringing in any scholar or expert, so I will highlight that in a box, rectangle box.
Right.
And for
So
fact,
this is for the value addition.
value addition.
Because normally what people do is that they write an example, put a triangle or square around it, and then write the example.
No, for example, I used to do the triangle part.
Right.
But for if apart from the example, if any
Something
content
niche.
is there, yes, for that I will be making a box so that it is visible and that person don't have
Evaluator
to.
does not miss that thing.
Don't miss, and he doesn't have to read anything. He knows, okay, he has written relevant things and he has done his part.
You've worked on your handwriting also in the journey.
Handwriting, sir, I have worked, but more, yes, my hand, like after writing a lot, your handwriting gets better
Because I vividly remember that you had a challenge with handwriting in the beginning. Not now, but 21,
yes,
22.
sir, in the initial attempt,
Initial
it
attempt
was
you
there.
had.
But that
Because
gets
when you are
better
at
with
335 in the first attempt, that is a space where you could have done a lot of things wrong. It would not be, because 335 is pretty low. Right? So,
below average.
right. And I think that journey of that 100 marks is a big journey. It's a very commendable journey. Right. Ethics, no, paper 3, you have gotten 91 marks.
Yes, sir.
Very difficult to score, right? Have you scored
Before that, I scored 97 last
97? That was the highest.
year. That are good
Your
marks.
highest, 97, right? I think usually it touches not more than 110. It's below 110, it peaks below 110.
Yes, sir. So, sir, with GS3, what I feel is that I scored in the initial 2 mains, I scored in 74, both mains. So, I was not able to understand. Then, when I analyzed the topper copies, I went through 100 toppers copies, and I found that people who are writing more number of points, very high number of points,
That is working.
they are getting more than 95. People who have good content, they are getting 85 to 90. And people who are writing decent number of point and content, they are in 90 to 95 range. So
I think there's an Abhi Jain strategy or something like, give as many points as possible. Like
this Ayan Jain.
Ayan Jain strategy.
He was my batchmate in IPS. I talked to him.
I think he has written 25 points and not in some questions.
No, in 15 markers, I have actually written 30 points.
30 points.
You can see in my mock test papers also. So, because that one of the reasons I believe is that the person who is checking the GS3 paper has 5 to 6 subjects.
Right.
So that person will be expert in only one thing.
Right.
So if you are giving more number of points, and then the answer becomes more holistic. So he will be able to.
There's a challenge, when you're writing 30 points, none of the points will be explanatory. It will be just a few keywords.
So for that, actually, what I used to do, that once you have written what you wanted to say, make a small bracket and then mention some fact or some data, whatever you want to say, or any scholar which you want to mention.
Right.
So in that way, within less number of words, you can say what you want to say. So that is actually
Paper completion was an issue in paper 3?
Yes, sir, it will be an issue, sir. Except paper
2 everywhere.
GS2, I felt in almost every.
I think it's the worst in paper 4.
Paper 4, yes, sir.
Second day, last paper, you have a lot of pressure also.
Like my speed was not that bad. Like normally when in mocks I used to write, it used to take 10 minutes more.
Right.
So I was able to complete papers.
UPSC, you are always 10-15 minutes faster.
Because one or two questions will be there which you will not know.
And your hand will pain lesser in UPSC. Like
Yes,
तुम्हें पता है कि ये- this is the
adrenaline
real
rush is
thing.
on the next level.
Right.
So you will be writing very fast also.
Facts, data, value addition. What was your approach for current affairs and all?
For current affairs, sir, I used to read newspapers, and for like if I used to find any good example from that, so I used to write it down. And other than that, I followed Dipin sir current affairs.
How was your experience with Dipin sir?
It was good, sir. In the initial attempts, I could not watch all the videos, so I used to only go through the handouts, but the handouts don't have that.
No, you will have to, handout is like a trailer.
You have to attend the classes for that. So later I attended and I made notes out of it, and I revised it a lot, and I used to discuss it with friends, because the content is so heavily loaded that
Niche, rich content.
it's very rich content that if you don't revise it and you don't discuss that where it can be used. So what I used to do with one of my friend is that we used to take out 2-3 hours, and then we used to ensure that all the syllabus keywords, syllabus topics are there. For example, society, there is casteism. So we used to find out that what part of the Dipin notes can be utilized there. So in this way, I ensured that.
I think the good thing about his content is that it's paper neutral.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Right.
This is a paper.
It can be used across.
Essay, GS1 in ethics.
Even in optional piece, political science people and sociology people use it there also.
Okay. It can be used, sir. That is why I used to do this strategy, that every term of the syllabus, every topic of the syllabus, you are writing down his scholars and whatever.
And the way he gives value addition also, codes, books, names.
They can be used at any place, like if you have revised it enough.
Right.
But the issue is that you have to revise it. If you don't do that, you won't be able to use it.
And I think it's difficult for beginners. Dipin sir's content is a little higher level. It is something which suits people who have already given 1 mains or have an experience with examination.
Because then only you have some time left. Otherwise,
time also you understand also. I have seen instances where beginners are not able to comprehend what he's trying to say.
Yes, sir.
And how did you did you make really short notes for revising all these facts?
Yes, sir. So, for every topic, for example, if I'm making notes for tribals, so I will be writing facts in that one paper.
Was the conceptual note different from the factual notes? Like, conceptual note is a theme, like, okay, issues faced by tribal community. The data associated with that, was that in a different note or it was in the same paper?
It was in the same note. Because sir, after a point, you know that general points you will be able to write.
So, you have color coded also?
Yes, yes, sir. So if any specific point is there which I might miss, that this is the impact issue or issue which faced by tribal, only that point I will be writing in my notes, because I know general issues I can write, anyone can write. So it used to be highly consolidated, so that within 2 hours or within 1.5 hours which I will be getting between the paper, I am able to go through that notes and I am able to bring that content in my answers. So
ethics case studies first or part A first?
So this year I actually changed my strategy. This year I attempted part B first.
Case studies first.
Case studies first.
Okay.
And then part A. Before that, in the remaining attempts, I used to go from 1 to 20. Right. But marks have been same.
So 118.
118. 118. So in both the attempts.
Right.
So
what was your strategy for value addition, keywords, and in ethics paper?
Sir, in ethics, it has been over the period of time, like in every mains which I was giving, I used to go through some new content, because once you have covered the base material in ethics, it is about going through the specific new thing which you can find, because you don't have to read the basics again. So you can just read example which are being given by any coaching.
Did you take an attempt to diversify your examples or make it more interesting?
Differentiated. I actually started using mythological examples a lot.
Okay.
So that was one thing. Other
so
than that,
you mapped keywords to mythological examples first.
Yes, sir.
Like for integrity, something for right.
So I did that, and it's like Kabir Doha.
Anything you can remember right now?
Yes, sir. So for example, I read a lot of books. So there is a book by Viktor Frankl. You must have read, sir.
Yeah.
Man's Search for Meaning in Life. So in there, it is actually, there is a quote that for every wrong thing which is happening to us, there is a stimulus. We are independent person, and we can control how we are going to react to it. So this thing can actually be used in case study conclusion.
There is this quote which I remember: "Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional."
Yes, sir.
Right, something like that.
So like this Viktor Frankl thing, I used in one of my case studies, because like if the things are going wrong in your favor, it doesn't mean you will also do wrong. So that is why it is important that you are that person, you are the person who can act differently. So like this thing can be used.
Right.
Then Mahabharata, from Mahabharata, I used to quote Arjuna and Krishna dialogue conversation which happened in there. And Kabir Doha can also be used. So sir, this is something like in case studies this year, something which I did.
Code-based questions in ethics?
So in code-based, actually you told me
template,
one of the,
right?
Yes. So that if any quote is given, so like there were 5-6 pointers which you told, that like start by the same, start by explaining, then the context, present context, and then example, if you can negate that you quote, can do that, and then end by
you remember it better than me now,
you and end by the relevant quote,
right?
So
and establishing the quote in the context of different stakeholders, like
yes,
what does it mean to
and one thing I think in which it is important, that if there is a quote of Mahatma Gandhi, so you can in introduction, what you can do is that you can highlight how Mahatma Gandhi followed that quote in his own life. So that will give an impression to examiner that this person knows why this quote has been asked. So then you can
I think that's a very interesting argument, because if you know the thinker or the author who was given, and
because
if you can
mostly we know them, like Swami Vivekanand, we know Gandhi, we know Plato or Socrates, so we can use that thing.
Right.
So that is one way, sir.
Essay you don't want to talk about?
Essay, sir, is an enigma.
It's an enigma.
So
for someone who reads so much, it's very surprising, and it's not like you don't know how to write.
I don't know, sir, what is happening. Like I wrote 20 essays and I increased my marks by
because
2.
If you had slightly more essays, marks in essay, you would have been top 10, right?
Like top 10 is not even top 10, sir. I could have been in top 5.
Top 5, right?
So only 20 marks increased and top 2, top 3, top 4.
Right.
So
and with respect to interview, you have scored 190 this time, and last time 200. 201. What works for you in interview?
So I follow this approach of CCF, content, confidence, and fluency.
Okay.
So like if you are well with the if you are good in content aspect, so like all the things which you have mentioned in your DAF. So one does that, but go in depth. Apart from that, sir, I used to ensure that all the prelims and the mains notes I should also revise, because again, I should not leave any scope where they ask me a question I am not aware. So,
and if you do prelims and mains, you cover almost everything.
Yes, and you can bring some facts in your answer. So I am a person, like if I, whenever I used to speak or give any answer, I used to ensure that either I am giving example or I am giving a fact. So it is not a general answer that, okay, you have just read. Anyone can say general answer, but to make it specific.
And I think you have gotten the experience of attending 2-3 interviews. Over the time, you would have built that confidence also.
Yes, sir. So with confidence comes
different
confidence
panels or the same panel?
Different,
all different panels.
All four different. So with content comes confidence, and that gives you fluency. So these 3 things are important in interview. So I follow this approach, sir.
Anything else you want to add? Anything you want to talk about?
How
to survive this exam? Right.
Sir, survive, I think it is important that first you need to have a strong why. Only then you can sustain. If you are just doing to impress your girlfriend or to impress your parents, you won't be able to sustain.
Start with the why.
Yes. So that is one thing. After that, sir, like understand that this is a big thing. Like it takes time. So
It's very competitive. You have the smartest, brightest people competing for this exam.
So it will take time.
It will take time.
And you should always look out for ways to improve. Like yes, and one thing which happens with people is that if they fail, they start commenting on themselves that they are meant for failures.
Right.
So what I used to do was that I used to don't look at failure as a whole. I used to look in parts.
Right.
That out of the 8 papers, I did well in 5, but I failed in 3. So these 3 papers are my issue. I am not the issue.
Yeah.
So I think when you differentiate,
Compartmentalize.
yes, when you break things into smaller things, you are able to see things more clearly, and you are motivated that okay, now I have to focus on these things. So that is one thing. And then thirdly, sir, avoid negative
The family
elements.
thing you said is a very important
Avoid
thing.
negative things, and that is and have a good support system. So
Friends are also important. I think that
very
peer
important,
group.
sir. Very important. My case, like every attempt, I had people who
What's
were
the success
prepared
around your friend circle?
very high, sir, better than me.
Right.
Like in
Can you name a
2022,
few?
the person with whom I prepared got a top 50 rank. In 2023, with whom I prepared got a top 50 rank.
Right.
And then this year, I got a top 50
How
rank.
do you attract the right crowd, or how do you identify someone as a good
Find
serious
someone
aspirant?
who works harder than you.
Find one.
who is
Don't be
more-
the smartest person in the room.
Yes,
Right.
find person who is dedicated. Like I am a very dedicated person, but I try to find person who has the potential and who can follow what I am saying. Like follow in the sense that I like to push people. I will push myself and I will push that other person. So in both the attempts, I was with the people in the earlier attempts that who were doing what I was saying, because I like to push a lot. So they were also
Because
giving a lot of
right people can make or break
Yes.
your attempt. So I've always seen this. The right
and don't
set
be
of people.
with people who hide things.
Right.
Like they're in UPSC preparation, you will come on in
All
life.
types
You
of people.
will and come across people who are like they are doing very petty things, like hiding what they are reading or what they are doing. So I think
It
that
should be
is
an
a
open, constructive relation.
yes. So avoid all the negative things. Like I have literally blocked people who were from my college. So because I didn't get a good vibe from them later years. So you can block people. You can because they are bringing negative things.
You have to be brutally selfish. I think that's a one-word thing to say.
Selfish or you are not doing
Focused.
anything wrong. Focused, yes.
Focused.
Focus will be a better way to say that. So yes, you have to be that person. You have to be focused.
Use of smartphones. Has it worked in your favor or against you? Screen addiction is a big problem now.
It is a problem, sir. I think I used to put a timer. Like now I am the service, so I don't have the timer. But when
What is your average screen time now? It will be very less, right?
it will. Yes, we don't have phones
for a lot of
we
time.
wake up at 5, come back to room at 10 in the evening. So after that, we have only half an hour, 1 hour left before we go to
So
sleep.
during preparation, how did you deal with this thing?
I used to keep my phone switched off.
Switched off.
And then between the lunch, I used to switch on, watch something, and then switch it off again. So
Because I think these reels and shorts are designed to deviate you.
these are really distracting. Sir. Like now it has like in the 2022 till 2022 it was fine, but after that this pattern has changed a lot. Like everything is in shorts format now.
I've read this book on Elon Musk. It's by somebody, and in the first paragraph, so this author asks Elon Musk, why aren't we seeing flying cars and things? So there's something that this guy Elon Musk says. He says that the smartest minds of the world, instead of working on these things, are looking at how to get you to like a photo or how to get you to share a photo.
That
There's
is
so much
actually true,
brain
sir.
going on in this.
Like even in the academy, like once you are IPS or IAS, you people look up to you, and like if many people try to flaunt also.
Right.
So they are like obsessed with posting photos.
Social media,
And I am a person, like I have a private profile.
Right.
So even like with the one post which I had to make, I took after selection, I took 20 days because it was so much thinking
Overwhelming
goes back before posting. Like it is tougher than UPSC, I guess, because like posting one post, how people will react to it, you have to think a lot. So
There's this one more quote. Never has been there a generation that has shared so much about what they are not doing. Right? There is so much of sharing happening on
Yes.
nothing which is being done.
yes, exactly. Like over glorification of each and everything.
Everything.
So it's better that you don't you restrict yourself. It's very important.
I was recently seeing somebody's interview. This girl has gotten a top rank, and she has not used a phone for 3 years or something. Like she's. I keep telling, especially in the pre to mains phase, you move from a digital phone to a smartphone, a smartphone to an analog phone. You'll add at least 2 hours to your day.
So actually, you told this to many of my friends, and they shifted to
Analog phone.
Yes.
It'll add at least 1-2 hours.
Everyone bought this analog phone. The Nokia sales. You should be the ambassador.
Ambassador of Nokia 11110. Right. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this conversation. Right.
Thank you for inviting me.
And Wishing you all the journey. This bridge has crossed. Now no more prelims is happening tomorrow. No more prelims.
Yes, sir.
No more Hindu newspaper. Have you discontinued Hindu Indian Express?
I could not, sir. I'm not getting the time actually. So that
Because
is.
I think there is a shift from Hindu to Hindustan Times.
Yes. After you come in the service, Times of India and Hindustan Times are
right.
the most
Hindu Indian Express is only for the struggling aspirants.
important. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.